Ain't no stopping what I do. If it ain't big, then it's my new. You ain't ready to die for this crack, though you're like damn the shoe. I can see right through you, that little image you portray ain't true. Social media got you thinking you Philly like that, that's not true. Biggie Smalls give me the loot, all my dogs ready to shoot. I keep the dope in my pool, I take your girl if she cute. She say you a fruit, I got the truth. This Max.
What up? It's your boy Milano back at it again. This time we talking about 3 misconceptions about women overseas. Let's get it. Okay, fellas, the first one up is not all Latinas call you papi. This is a huge misconception I see a lot with a lot of the travel bros, whether you're a monger, traveler bro, or black man that travels, white man that travels, whatever you consider yourself. In the travel community amongst the men, I know a lot of guys assume all the women in Latin America, especially like Dominican Republic, Colombia, Costa Rica, Mexico, that a lot of these women refer to us as papi. But that's not the case all the time, man. I know in Dominican Republic, a lot of the women usually use the phrase mi amor. And also, too, in Colombia. So, not all the women, the Latino women, especially in South America, are referring the guys or the ones you're dealing with. They're not gonna be calling you papi. I think a lot of guys, in the States, when they deal with, Puerto Rican women that are in the States, they'll call you papi, and they assume, when I go overseas, these women are going to call me papi. Not all of them call you papi, I think that's more of an American thing, to be honest with you. Yeah, a lot of them don't really use that. And even, I remember I dated an El Salvadorian chick, and she used to call me Papicito. She didn't call me Papi. She called me Papicito. She even said the Papi was more of a Puerto Rican thing than El Salvadorian phrase. So, not all these women are going to call you Papi. So a lot of you guys get that misconception, especially if you're from Boston, New York, up north, or whatever, and you deal with Puerto Rican women from the States that were born in the States. A lot of them, they'll call you Papi. But overseas, it's a whole different situation. Okay, number 2. Not all women overseas are easy to approach. Fellas, a lot of us get this misconception that when you go overseas, that you could just approach the women, or the women are going to approach you and be very easy to talk to. That's not always the case, man. I've been to Brazil where, I remember when I came back from Brazil, a lot of the women in the States was like, oh, I know all them Brazilian women were all over you because you're American or whatever. Or they, because, you went to a foreign country. So when you're American, they're all over you. And I'm like, that's not always the case. A lot of, especially Sao Paulo, a lot of women will actually avoid you or walk past you like you're back home in the States. Mexico, in certain parts of Dominican Republic, these women aren't starstruck. You know what I mean? And a lot of them won't even really approach you like that. You know what I'm saying? And even if you approach them, you could get turned down. So a lot of guys like, oh yeah, they're going to be all over me. Certain situations like Sasua, they'll approach you, but that's for the pay for play situation. These are pros. You know what the deal is with them. You go somewhere like Costa Rica, San Jose, you go in the Del Rey spot. The women are going to approach you at the bar because they're working. They're pros. You know what I'm saying? But even in Costa Rica, in the streets, you ain't getting approached like that. I've been to Costa Rica many times. In San Jose, it's like a little New York. And, I've had my share of women who hit on me that work in, their jobs. But as far as approaching them or them just approaching me, it doesn't always work out like that. So a lot of guys think, oh man, once I leave the States, I go to paradise. I'm going to be in heaven. All these women are going to give me the time of day. And that's not always the truth, always the case, man. A lot of times you could be disappointed. So please, guys, do not set yourself up for failure and assume that, oh, once you go there, they're going to be all over you and everything. That's a misconception a lot of guys in the States have when they go overseas. And even when you go to Sasua, you know, like I said, that's pay for play situation. You go to another part of DR, you're not going to get that same treatment. So guys, always notice the difference and never let that misconception misguide you. Okay, third one, last but not least, we were already talking about a little bit about the American status, right? Well, the third one is having the money and good looks isn't enough. Isn't always enough in these foreign countries. You know, I know a lot of guys, you know, they're like, oh man, you need to get in shape. You need to look the part, be a better version of yourself. You know, they got inspired by Kevin Samuels, Austin Holloman, you know, and they preach, you know, dress the part, have the best attire on, be in physical good shape, go to the gym, all that. And get your money up as far as make sure you're saving your money, investing, have some good income coming in or multiple sources of income. While that may be very helpful, and I am not discouraging anybody from doing that, that is not always going to secure you with a female or the female your choice overseas. A lot of these guys think, you know, oh, well, you know, if I'm fit and I go to the gym 5-6 times a week, you know, I do some IT work and I'm making 6 figures a year and I know how to dress. When I go overseas to Brazil, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Mexico, I'm going to get the woman that I want. That's not always going to be the case, guys. And a lot of stuff you guys got to do is do your research. And when I mean do your research, you got to basically learn some of the language, right? Because the language is always going to help you. If you don't have no communication, you know, no communication, you might not get no penetration. You feel me? You need to be able to communicate with these women overseas, or at least make an attempt to learn the language. I've said this many times in the past. You know, you gotta learn the culture. You know, learn the language and learn the culture are two different things. You could learn the language, but if you don't understand the culture, because the culture is different in every country. The culture in Brazil, the culture in the Dominican Republic, the culture in Colombia, the culture in Costa Rica, it's all different, fellas. All different. You got, wherever you're going, you gotta know that culture. When you know the culture, you will have better results with getting the women that you want. A lot of guys assume, you know, it's just the looks and the money, but it's more to that. You know, there's guys in Colombia, you know, and other parts that, you know, they speak the language. They may not be buff. They might not be even 6 figures. They might even only make 5 figures, maybe even 4 figures a year. But if they got the language and the culture down pat, they gonna be that daddy Mac in that country, man. And I know you guys are gonna say, well, that's the locals. That's the locals is different. No. The locals are automatically know the language and the culture because that's what they're growing up with. But you take somebody working McDonald's, pushing shopping carts at Walmart, learns a little bit of language. He doesn't have to be a Rosetta Stone pro. All he has to do is know the basic language, you know, learn the culture. Once you learn the culture, you can understand the people. Once you understand the people, you can understand how to get the woman you want in that country, you know? So, And I'm speaking from experience, guys. You know what I mean? But I will say this: not saying the looks and the money don't matter. It does, but don't think that's just enough to get you success with the women overseas. A lot of misconception with that. You know, oh, I look good. You know, I got the best attire. I'm making 6 figures a year. I'm making good money. No, that's not always gonna help you get the girl that you want. You know, so that's about it, guys. The 3 top misconceptions about women overseas. I appreciate y'all checking this out. Hit that like, that subscribe, share this to somebody that might need it. And it's your boy.